Did you know Jesus defines Holy Spirit? In Mark chapter 13, verse 11, the yellow highlighted text that you see, Jesus teaches sometimes the words people say are not their own words. The words are from or by Holy Spirit. And in Matthew chapter 10, verse 20, Jesus teaches, Holy Spirit is our Father's word speaking from your mouth. Now, I did some editing in the blue and green highlighting, and the word in, and I had to add the word through, because we have 4 examples of our Father's words. The first example, Luke chapter 1, verse 67, tells us when Zacharias declared John's the Baptist's life, these words had to be said by our Creator, for he prophesied John's life. The second example we have is Luke chapter 1, verse 41, when out of Elizabeth's mouth she declared Mary's son is blessed. These 2 verses prove their words were our Creator's words coming from their mouths. The third and fourth example are in Luke chapter 12, verse 12, and Matthew chapter 12, verse 28, where Jesus teaches our Creator's words will be said in their mind, and then they are to say his words. Other examples of our Creator's words coming to their mind are in the Hebrew text, where the prophets are being told to go out, and then our Creator will tell them what to say. Thus, Jesus teaches us there is no Trinity. All right, this is an example of the formats that I was mentioning that I'm going to show you or try to find in the text. And that is using 2 major words connected with the least amount of smallest words I can come across. To put these verses together. Each of these are a verse. And then what happens is in a 3 verse that you see here, the first verse is really a statement, so it has a period, and the next 2 actually make like a sentence that define or explains or tells what the first statement is saying. And then what happens is that this becomes a paragraph. Okay, now what happens is in a 3 verse, again, it will come, there will be text so close to what's being said that you could actually say that this is a larger paragraph when you put them together. And then what will happen is there'll be a double space, and you can see there's double space, but then you can see here it is again. And this is repeats. And the 4 verse does the same thing, only that the 4 verse is a comma and a period and a comma and a period to make like 2 complete sentences. And then again, you'll see that they 2 of them together become a very large paragraph. But that's the style they wrote in, and this is what I'm saying is calling the first writer's formats. And these are being revealed because this is Jesus's prophecy. He told you about the helper. I know the text, when you actually look at it, is so corrupt, but you'll find that the helper is supposed to have a spirit of truth or a soul for truth. And you'll see and understand how much knowledge I have of the truth in the text. I can tell you things that you would not know about. Our Creator made me see him 8 times. That means that our Creator, I don't have a belief. I know our Creator exists. And what I'm going to do here in chapters 3 and 4, put them into one video here and show you why I am editing the text and how I go about doing it. And so the text will look like this. I'm getting rid of words, and then all of a sudden, even though I can skip a few, it comes down here and completes this. These two go together, and that's what happens a lot of times. In fact, I'm surprised sometimes I can find like this one verse actually would be way down here at the end, so that he died. But I didn't go down, just grab this one and say it goes with the other one. But a lot of times you can find one verse sometimes way out of place, you know, almost half a chapter sometimes. So with this, chapter 3 has 28, and I think 4 has about 22. So this should take about 3 hours. And what I'm going to do at the end is clean the text up and go over it a little bit if I don't get too distracted, because sometimes I forget what I promised. So I'm just going to start explaining or talking to myself and then explaining. So then Solomon formed a marriage agreement with Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and the daughter, and brought her to the city of David until he finished building his own house. Now we know that Solomon married a foreigner, and then he went to her, I think, her place, which is not supposed to be inside Israel. And then he went there and I can't remember what he'd done there, but our Creator then said, Solomon, you weren't supposed to do that, and I'm going to punish you, and now your son's after you. It's not going to have one just nation, it's going to have two nations. And our Creator divides all Israel into two nations. Now, is this true? What's being said here? I don't know. So Solomon formed a marriage alliance. Now, a marriage by alliance. Now we know that alliance is not right. We know that is not true, because they never really joined forces as an alliance. So I can't use this word. But I could do this. Solomon then, because we have to have his wife die, so that would be Solomon then married I'll change it so I'll know that married. And I don't know if these are periods or comma yet. And they removed, when they put the word Pharaoh in, they removed all the kings for Egypt names and put in the word of Pharaoh. So they knew who they were talking about at that time, but the pagans don't want you to know history is truthful. The text was truthful. So they covered up, and that's part of their deception against their deceptive words that they put into the text. The king for Egypt's now see, this is not actually fallen in tune with see if I had his name. So if I did this, it said the king for Egypt's boy, I want to say Egypt's daughter. Solomon then married the king to the city, and this would be Jerusalem, by the way. So this, if I put Jerusalem here, then I've gotten rid of this here. Is this the only text that I've got? Although if I take this and move it here, king, and then I would have to put daughter. And I'd have to put Egypt in here. This is not reading good enough to become a format. Until he finished building his own house and the house for YV and the wall around Jerusalem. Now the house for YV was completed when he was young, like 14 to 18. It took him 4 years to do this. And he actually done this, married this woman later in life. So that story is going to come up, but I know we just don't know. And I thought that the format would reveal here what's going on. I'm just not seeing any of this being correctly to be added, so I don't care. This is just out. It's just out. And this is out. Okay. The people were still sacrificing in high places. There was no house built for the name for YV until those days. Now that's not true either. When David was king, we have no text that he went around killing off anyone who was not obeying the 12 commandments. For example, when I say 12 commandments, here they are, okay? And they're found in Exodus 21 through 17. And these are actually, if you didn't obey them, you needed a sin offering. So there's only 12 sins. If you bowed down or served their creator willingly, you were supposed to then repent and make an atonement by bringing a sin offering. But if you didn't, or this as well, then you were to be killed. In our creator, or our creator would say to the priest that he's trying to, no, he's lying, cast him and his family out of the promised land. So the other thing is that I know here, oh, I wish this would work again correctly. Is the timeline text. See, what we have is missing text for 300 years. And they were corrupt and they went away from our creator. I even have text that says that our creator stopped going or appearing to the priest in Shiloh. And Shiloh is located right about here. So this means Israel had fallen away from our creator sometime. Again, how come that thing? This is bothering me big time because I just made this border bigger in case that happened. I guess I got to make it wider. So are the people are still sacrificing on high places? Now this would have had to be because under Solomon everybody was one. This would have to be. I can say that that Manasseh here, East Manasseh, they were the first ones to be cast away by our Creator from their land for going against our Creator and meditating, having sex with a so-called female goddess, and not believing our Creator exists. So, but this is after Solomon's time. So if this is what they're talking about in this area, this is completely out of place. Because these high places is what they're saying, what a high place is they thought by the closer you get to heaven, so they go up to the highest hill, okay? And they're going to talk to the gods and things like that. So that's what high places mean, these altars for sacrificing at these high places on the higher, on the mountains or on the hills. But this this means that there was a tent for meeting. So this could, now it's pointing to that 300 years where they did fall away, and I was telling you about our Creator stopped appearing in Shiloh. That is tent for meeting by Shiloh. And that's not good. And lived by his I'm going to say commands, and that's going to cover the statutes, the commandments, laws, and guidances. So this is going to be commands. Don't need this. Adding this. Adding that. Change that. Got rid of this. And not that, it's going to be like. His father David. Now that's a 4 verse. And this is not the excuse. When I'm reading this again, I'm seeing this is not really excusable for what they're doing here. So that text would have to be wrong. I'm going to just say that's all out then. There's not enough story to combine with it. No. Except he sacrificed and burned incense on the high places. No, Solomon didn't do that. Just got done. David, you never heard David do that. So no. Now, see, this writer doesn't know what a burnt offering is on that altar. A sin offering is burnt, and that is showing the leader of the family, male or female, that's come to atone for the family's sin, that to them, they made the offering. The priest's now going to go inside. They can't see. There's a wall there, but they can see smoke rising, and that would mean that what the priest burnt that up, and it's showing that our Creator is going to forget it because the smoke is going to disappear, to be forgiven and not remembered. So this saying there's a burnt offering, this is just wrong. And now they're going to say he appeared there to him. Why the Now this is being written wrong. You cannot tell our Creator to come see you, just like I can't say I seen our Creator. I have to be truthful and say our Creator made me see him, because there's no way something that's created of his creation is going to say that they had the power to bring our Creator. So even the writer would know this, and it wouldn't be a dream, it's a vision. And a vision comes from our Creator. All these capital letter words like this is to honor and respect our Creator, and easy to pick out his words or his possessions or his doings, his works. YV appeared. Solomon had a vision. Now, this is because usually only prophets did this. So, Solomon had a vision. And we know, well, the vision can be during the daytime, it can be at night. So, but this is being said wrong. Solomon had a vision, and our Creator asked him. Okay, now I can get rid of this up here because that just bugs me. That's just not being truthful. So, but this is starting to, well, what do you wish? Our Creator does not use the word wish, so that's pretty. Now this has got to be, our Creator's going to be asked him. So this has to be a comma here. So this is going to be a period. This is the statement. And our Creator asked him, what should I give you? What should I give you? Question mark. Now this word here, I usually get rid of one side because it is two words together. So Solomon, what did he do? He replied, Solomon replied, kindness to my father. Oops, I don't need to add the two here. I've got it already here. Okay. Because it can't be accordingly. Our Creator gives his blessing, and only to those that are obedient to him. The more obedient you are to our Creator, then the more that our Creator will give you. So, for he walked as if he was before you. Like when our Creator's there all the time. So he's not like most Christians that'll say, oh, there's no death penalty. Oh, I can talk to queers. That's not our Creator's game plan. Our Creator told us there are enemies and you don't disobey what I'm telling you to do. And I'm going to use the word if as one of the two words to mean the format style. And then before you, and we know that this would be the most important word before you. So there's two words here. Righteousness is only something if you do all the time that you have to put our Creator first to reach this title, righteousness. But that's given to you as from somebody else. You can't claim you have righteousness. So with truth and with a truthful heart. Trying to think if there's a better way to say truthful heart. And it can't be towards thee. And you have promised to give him sons. Trying to think of how our Creator. Um, and by your great kindness, and I don't need this. You have promised to give. Let's see. Yeah, I've got great kindness up here, so I can get rid of this and all this dough. So you have promised to give him sons to sit. Kings for Israel, and this would be wrong. This is almost like it's a different sound. This is still coming. This is also our promise. To sit and rule Israel. And this is this one, but it's in gray. I'm adding this. And that is what's truthful here. So you promise to give him sons to sit. Well, his throne. Rule. Well, all these got to go. Sons to. This is not good. I don't like the way it's coming out. even though that's what it's being here. I don't think that's the way Solomon would say it. So, because I know what he's supposed to say. It's, so you have promised to give him sons to be kings over Israel, over Israelis, over Israel, the nation, to sit on his throne to rule. I guess that's, it can be said. I don't like the way it's being said, though. But it looks like I'm going to put it. This seems to be the word Lord, that I made a mistake when I just put it as defaulted and put all his name into, instead of saying choose all capital letter lords. So let me go to this here, and I've got to check on this. And this would be 3, 7. Oh, it is. So that one was done right. Did you know Jesus defines Holy Spirit? I forgot in Mark chapter 13. So shut that off, and now you can hear me. And now me, your servant. Throne. I'm going to have to put the word and here. I'm thinking I'm not going to use the above verse. And you have made me your servant. This is like replacing. My father. It has to be by. You have made your servant by replacing. Yet this can be taken out. You have made me your servant, yet I am not a little child, but I am young, is the way I'm sure he would say it. Yet I am too young. This is not right. Yet I am I'm going to use servant, and I am too young and do not know how to rule, and do not know and I do not know, not how, but do not have, I do not know, or I do not have the knowledge. Yeah, he's asking for a heart of understanding, or he's asking for knowledge to rule. So it has to be, and do not know how to rule. How to be a lord to them. And that goes with the title. You have to understand the title is what he's. So, and to have the title as Lord means the guider over and then provider of the things that the people need to know. And do not know how to be a Lord over them. Yes, I think that's the truthfulest wording here. And this is not right. This is not truthful. Okay, getting rid of that. Forgive your servant understanding heart to judge. To judge. Now this I have to put Jesus' people here. His people, because at David's time, David was told that Jesus is coming. So now instead of it's our Creator's nation, it becomes Jesus's people. How to judge his people. An understanding heart to judge. His people. Discern. Let's see what happens if there's an easier word for 12-year-olds to understand than that word. Understand, I think. I think that would be better. To understand between good and evil. Good and evil to judge his people. It has to be changed to this, which makes it now, this is the word that I'm using as part of the format. This was pleasing. But here is the same thing. So I'm going to get rid of these words here and say these words. And our creator said, because you have asked for this, it's not a thing, it's knowledge. And not asked for yourself. So Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going to need this long life or riches for yourself. I don't think this, we already know what he's asked for. He will. You. And I'm going to have to put knowledge because it's a special knowledge, because his knowledge was so high that kings came to listen to him and then gave him money. And why would they give him money for just hearing him speak of things? And the only thing I can think of is our Creator gave him the knowledge of the understanding of, like, a photographic memory of all the things that you see on the land. In other words, what the birds ate, what the birds didn't eat, what bugs ate, what bugs didn't eat, what migrations, what timings were. And this would have been the knowledge to help other kings to be able to plant and have food for their people, which is something that is worth paying for. So, and I think that comes up in this text somewhere. But I will give you knowledge and a not discerning and a kind heart. Now that would be the end of this group, because I've been doing 3 verse in case you didn't know why I was doing this. Um, and this has to go back to the word one. And actually, I'm going to put it together like, and have to be like, that means that I'm moving this like word over here. Like no one before you, nor this has to be any one Make no one before you, nor anyone like you. This has to be arising. It's the best thing I can say is to giving birth, being born. Yeah, born after you. Born after you. See, sometimes I just have to talk loud enough to hear myself what I'm saying here. Okay. I have, you can't, and I will. Give you. Riches and honor. This all can't be, it's got to be after your days. So I got to say I'm adding this word, but I'm really changing this word. And this is not needed. You can't stand before the chest. That's in his meeting room, and only the 13 priests get to go in there. And then so this is just out. Single. Just a second, I gotta get this. Let me see. Okay. 2 women who were single came to the king. To ask for his judgment. I have to include this somewhere. And as they which makes that a 4-verse. And my Lord, can't use this if I'm going to do a 4-verse format. And it's not this woman, it's that woman. That woman. And I live in you got to be together. And I birthed a son, and we'll find that out later. So this has to be son. I got that covered by the word together. This can't be third. It's got to be 3 days. This has to be the word then 3 days. Then 3 days. That woman also birthday son. Forgot to add the green here. Forgot to add the green here. Birthday son. This isn't important. And that son died in the night because she laid on him. See, now we got a son. She has to have a son. Okay. So she rose, took my son from beside me. Now that's a 4 verse. I'm saying this is a 3 verse format. This is saying a 4 verse format. If you say a few days passed, a few days, a few days. That's how I say it. That woman's son died at night because she laid on him. Okay, so she rose. So she rose in the middle of the night and took my son from beside me. As he laid beside me. As he laid beside me, and took my son as he laid beside me. See how easy it is to correct the text. I slept. Hers. Me. By me. That's just being stood wrong. But this, when I rose to nurse him, I saw he was dead. At him. He was not the son whom I had born. You'd just get rid of that one. Then the other. This has to be gone. The other woman said no. And the living one, it's my son, and then gave him a name. And the dead one is your son, and his name. Actually, I don't need this because that's the end of that, so I don't need this. First one said no. The dead. The dead is your son. is my son. Thus they argued before the king. It's got to be Solomon. Then Solomon. If I put it up here, then before the king, then Solomon said, first, my son who was living, son is dead. This is just the continuing argument. So it has to be like this. Said to the first one is your son living. This has to be something like as judge. East. Judge ordered bring, and I think that's within the intent of the word, bring me a sword. So they brought him a sword. King. use the whole sentence here again, which is rare that I do that, because he ordered the sword to divide the living son two and give half to and give half give half. Okay, I see what's happening. And to give and give half to one. So does it work like that? To divide the living son in two and give half to the one and other. To the first and the other. And that's how that's the only words I got, but it does describe what's going on. That's just, that comes out sometimes so beautiful. Okay. Then the woman, then the first has to be first, so we know which woman we're talking about. Then the first spake to her king, for she was deeply troubled. Troubled. I'm trying to think of a better word than trouble, but over her son. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. And said, my Lord, called kill him. No. That text doesn't go with anything. So if I don't use any of this, and I'm looking for one verse, then as judge, he ordered to give the first one the living child. Okay. But that's too good of a 4-verse grouping to say that I got to take one away. By no means kill him. But let the boy live. Then this would have been said. This is after the judgment, which would be not speaking, wouldn't overrule the judge and king. This has to be everyone. In everyone heard judgment. Heard of his, not judgment, but how he judged. So it's got to be by his judging. Heard of his judging. Now this is the end, and this, wow, this is 33 verses. Okay. But here, I got to go back up here and I got to figure out what's going on, how they are. Okay, now this would be a new story. So this can only be one. This got to be 2 here. That's 1. That's another. So this goes here. This needs 2. That goes there. Now there's 2 there. This one is 1. And now there's 2 here. Then there's going to be 1. And then there's going to be 2. And then this is 1. And then 2. So this is 1. This has to be 2. So this is 1. Okay, I was looking to see if I had to make this into 4. Heard of his judging. So we don't need this. They didn't fear the king. They not saw. They understood. They understood the wisdom and minister justice. So this is out. They understood the wisdom. His wisdom to judge with justice. Okay, even though this is the one's going to be longer, I'm going to take this right now. Come on, where's this ending here? Then this, go to the end here. Come on, get down here. Put it here. Then clean it up. Don't need this anymore. And you can see that this might be out because that's a 4 verse and I've got 3 verses. So I'm going to call this text out. It's out. Psalm had a vision. And this one won 2. This one is 1. This is 1. This is 2. Sometimes I got to work them backwards to see, yeah, how this writer did this. Then it's 2, then it's 1, then it's 2, and it falls right in line. Okay, all that text, cleaning it up, that's the story right there. Screenshot time. There you go. Whoops. No, that's only part of it. The story goes on. I forgot to clean this up. So let me clean the rest of it up here. And this is that 3 verse. And then this is a 4 verse. Yeah, it's a 4 verse. This needs 2 here. This needs 1. This needs 2. This needs 1. This needs 2. Oops. Oops. Yeah. 2. And I got to go down 2. 1. Then I don't need this one. Before the king. And he said to the first, so I'm going to change this, edit that, get rid of that. Now I've got 2 here. And then 1, then 2. Then 1, then 2, then 1. It's just beautiful when it does that. I get a kick out of that every time that happens. Anyways, now to get on with the next one here. But you see how it's done. I mean, I'm just been doing this for a long time, so it's pretty easy for me. So this one's going to be 33 verses. And this has to be Israel with a bold. Solomon was king over all Israel. Now Solomon, period, was over all Israel. See how that just appears? Even when I cut them into subjects, it just pops up right there real quick. Was king over all Israel. And these were his officials. And this is not an official. This wouldn't be important. Get rid of this. This guy was the recorder. What's the scribe? Was his scribe. Each king would have had a scribe. Was his scribe. They weren't his officials, they were his advisors. Oh, I gotta look up what they would have had for here. Other than that, so let's do some searching here, figure out what they're trying to get over on us here. Okay. And his these fuchsia colored words are added in this 1977 Bible, NSA Bible, and his now this is interesting because down here it says learned, which would be teacher, and his teacher of the books of the laws. We're gonna get rid of this because we already have a Jehoshaphat. So this is now Jehos. His teacher is Jehos. We don't need this. And Ahal, Ahil, Ahil, Ahil was his scribe. This is always, they keep putting this. Is This is not, I don't have 3 verse. His advisor was his teacher is this guy, and this guy was his scribe. This was his commander over over the army. This guy, no. This guy, I think, was the last one at David's time. And this, to make it read right, because these are connected together. This is going to have a comma, and this is going to have a period. And so actually I need a statement like that, a single verse, in other words. So, okay. So now I've got 3, 3, 3. Nathan was still a prophet. I can get rid of this. This wasn't important to name the prophet. And I'm going to use the word steward because that meant that he was like the head thing to organize things in the house for the king. So the steward was his steward. Was over Men, laborers. Laborers. I don't know how that's going to go down, but someone had 12 deputies overall. Israel. And this is not true, or this is not. Yeah, this is what I thought. This is all junk in here. This is going to say how much food he needed, what he got from these guys, and how they just. This is so terrible that when I was reading this, or if you go ahead and read this, you're going to see that this does not matter, and it's pretty much not truthful. And and like this kingdom never existed. They were dead in the promised land. They killed them off. They killed off the Amorites and the Moabs, men, women, children, everything. They were absolute pagans having sex with animals and their children and whatever. So they were killed off. They don't exist. But all of a sudden, 400 years later, they're still around. And the text, in fact, I got them around, I think even Jesus' time, there's a Canaanite woman. So that's gone too. They just use the words for their own meanings and not stating true facts. Israelis. As the sand of the seashore. In abundance they were eating and drinking and rejoicing. Okay. Nope, don't need that text. Now Solomon ruled. Okay. Now when I made this map, it's to define this. And you can see that this river here has many other rivers. Okay, because these are miles long. And this divided the land here. This divided Egypt's land. Okay, so the Philistines most likely lived here and on the other side because they could travel because Egypt wasn't spreading out that far to keep control of this. So that's why I've got them on both sides and lived down through here. Then David chased them out and took all this land. But he did make them subject to his paying taxes to him. So well, Solomon ruled. This has to be many areas, many people. Many peoples. Guess that's about making them different races here. Many races. Now Solomon ruled over races. From the river from the River Egypt, and it's still known as Egypt today, by the way. And from the River Egypt for the Philistines. That is the border of Egypt. Okay. From the River Egypt from the River Egypt was, let me see if I can pull that up again here. See, now it's saying here is where they're at. And then this was the border. So I got to change this map to be over here now. So anybody who's claiming to be Palestinian, this is where your land was at after David ran you out from this area over here, and you're actually descendants of Noah as well. So you just ended up being pagans, changed into pagans. So from the River Egypt was the land for the Philistines. That is the border for Egypt. That's exactly what I pretty good. I just got to change the line there now for them. Okay. Second part of this now. They brought tribute and served Solomon all his days. They brought, is it tribute or is it taxes? I'm going to leave it at that, and not really, that I might not change for a long time. They brought taxes and served Solomon all his day. Now, this is not true this here. Of course, for Solomon's provisions for one day. No, that was not. This is not true. this is like it's stuck in the middle here because this might have to go at the end of the story. So here, if I'm going from here, the River Egypt. Now let's see. Now we've got this in this part covered. Now these are Edoms. These are going to be Arabs down here. These are Armenians. So in Lebanon, they wouldn't have took over yet. Not at Solomon's time. These guys didn't overtake these guys later, but they're Armenians. So, and then there's above them. Well, I'm not going to get into that. I don't think they took the Chaldeans, but Arabs would have been here. And Arabs might have traveled this, but this is the Sahara Desert, so this is pretty much unlivable. So these are the areas. Philistines here. Now what do I've got here? It's got to be east of the River Jordan. Okay. And over. See, this is well, east. This has got to be east of the Jordan. East. Not everything, but everyone. I'm going to add this. I'm going to get rid of this. Everyone. Far east. I have to add the word far east because we can't have them. We already know he's over the 3 tribes that are living there. Jordan. Okay. This one is not true. He has to be changed into the word Solomon. Solomon at peace on all sides around about us. And then they paid tribute. So this is going to be, yeah. and there's still text that's going to be missing. There's going to be 3 verses missing. I got Far East. If I put Upper East here, then I can put in 3 verses for the lower verse, which would be Esau's men, and then it would be as his descendants, and then Arabs. So I'm making an excuse right now to put this word be that word correct, and then I know that there's stuff there that's missing. Now this here lives safely. We already had peace on all sides, so this is just extra, and they didn't need this. They had more than fig trees, and this here is needed. Psalm had 40,000 stalls of horses. 40,000. Can you imagine that? Boy, you want to talk about. And Solomon. Okay, out. We know he had a lot of things. Oh, these. Besides paying tax, they brought, what is it? Barley and straw for the horses. You know, so swift steeds. I don't even want to edit that anymore. That's okay. This we already got covered. Now this is going to be Solomon's wisdom. Solomon's wisdom surpassed the wisdom from east. I'm gonna go of and get rid of this word from surpass the wisdom of everyone around us. We don't need that. We don't need that. Still a 3 verse. And its fame was known. That famous knowledge. His knowledge was known. You can't put in, I can't use the word in, to the surrounding nations. Okay. How about if I do this and use this and say below and below Egypt? Egypt. His knowledge was known. Now I need the word all. To all the kingdoms. And below Egypt, his knowledge was known to all the kingdoms. Spake of the trees. This doesn't need. He spake of the trees. Spake also of the animals and birds. Spake of everything. He knew of everything, and of the birds, of the animals and birds. The creeping of fish. Mm. He knew of everything, which covers like seasons changing and the growing of things, even of the animals and birds and fish. And to say that differently yet the same, he knew of the green and even of the animals, birds, and fish. I think that covers what I've been trying to tell you about Solomon. And that's how I'm covering it. Like what turned what and for the season for growth. Okay. And kings and their advisors came to hear. Somebody was paying them all that gold. So it has to be kings and their advisors came to hear the wisdom of Solomon. Don't need this. Okay. This one. Let me copy that, but let me get down here and let me save that. And then bring up this. And I'm not sure how that's going to play together. So I'm not going to. Well, I might as well try putting it together. And then two for here. Now this I'm going to move. Move down. Many races in border of Egypt. That's 2. I said there's missing. And then this is where this text goes. In case I do any more moving. Now here, and then this, like I said, has to have missing to fill the combination. Because see, I've got this here and then double space. This should be 1 space. This should be 2 spaces. That'd be 1 space. Now here it's going to be 2 spaces. Put 1 there and 1 there. And then this has 1 space. And then this has 2 spaces. And this would be 1. But this is a different subject here. This has got to go back up with someplace. It's not going to stay here. I just don't know where to put it. But it's grouped right. So that's what this text is going to look like, and that's going to call it an end. Oh, I got through in 2.5 hours. That's not bad for a lot of verses, although I had to throw out a lot. So that okay, but I moved this, make it prettier. Okay, subscribe. You're seeing it. Tell the people, or tell your friends. Even though atheists, this guy's proving the Bible has absolutely been overrun by the atheist, and he is proving that there were first writers that knew our Creator, and is revealing the first truthful words in over 2,000 years, probably close to 2,400 years, but I'll say 2,000 because I knew they were even writing, but at Jesus' time they knew this format existed. Their scribes did. Anyways, I will be making another video.